Hello, virtuous thought leaders, scholars, and virtue change agents. My name is Dr. Lisa Marie Portugal, and I have a new talk for you. This is called A New Path Forward, High Expectations Demanded and Promulgated. And of course, yes, this is a character building challenge for us. All right, so the table of contents: shaping organizational culture. Make a commitment to raising standards wherever you are. Adopt principles, values, and high standards. A new path forward, high expectations demanded and promulgated. Have personal integrity. Moral principles guiding actions, behaviors, and choices. And a question to ask yourself. Okay, so I have a graphic here for our Shaping Organizational Culture theme, and this graphic comes out of Hartman et al. 2018, a book called Business Ethics, Decision Making for Personal Integrity and Social Responsibility. And wherever you are, think of yourself as a culture creator, right? So whether you're a student at a school, taking classes, or if you are out working in a school and you are teaching others or leading and managing others, or if you're in an organization or a corporation or you have a business of your own, whatever the situation that you find yourself in, think of yourself as that culture creator, and how we can participate in developing the kind of culture that we want to operate in and live in wherever we work, wherever we go to school, our society, our nation, right? So what codes of ethics are specifically important to you when working for an organization? Make a commitment to raising standards. I love this graphic here. Character builds slowly, but it can be torn down with incredible swiftness, right? So we want to always be in control of our behaviors, our actions, and develop that personal integrity and build that character within us so that we can stand strong in our commitment to having that personal and professional integrity, right? So organizational leaders should make a commitment to raising standards throughout the company. And that is us. That's all of us, wherever we are. Commit to making quality products, right? Commit to bringing your best every day. Commit to serving the nation that you live in, the society that you live in. Commit to the well-being of every employee hired, and commit to fairness, authenticity, transparency, and high morale and ethical standards in every transaction and business encounter with others. So there again, bring your very best to the table, bring your talent and your creativity, but we want to bring the kind of character that we have as traditional Christians. Furthermore, organizational leaders should commit to never operating unethically or immorally. Developing a values-based ethical plan rather than a compliance-based plan can be highly effective for employee morale, motivation, and incentive. And this comes out of studies by Covey, 1992, and Hartman et al., 2018. And Covey is pretty big out there. He's been doing research for a long time, a lot of studies, a lot of books, and he's always talking about this values-based ethical plan versus compliance-based, right? So what are the values that we stand behind, that emulate who we are? Well, if you're a teacher and you're working with your students out there, create a values-based ethical plan for your classroom, for your students to follow, versus something that's compliance-based. That gives them incentive, it gives them motivation, and it helps raise their morale, and it helps build character within them as well, right? Because they want to meet those high expectations and those values that you've set for them. And the same thing goes for wherever you are, if you work in an organization or a corporation or a school or wherever we happen to be, right? Okay, so let's get to the next slide. Adopt principles, values, and high standards, just like Mr. Covey was talking about. When principles, values, and high standards are adopted organization-wide with a code of ethics that is valued by every employee, raising the ethical and moral bar can be obtained more effectively when people care about the dignity of others, the work they do, and the products they produce. Very important, right? So if you're a teacher and you're working with students, well, we want to care about all these things, right? So that we can expect high standards from our students, and we want to care about their dignity and the work that they do, and we want them to know that we care about these things. We want them to produce their very best. We want them to bring their best to the table every day, just the way we do. Okay, a new path forward. I like that. High expectations demanded and promulgated. Let's take a look at this graphic. I love this one too. Character is like a tree, and reputation its shadow. The shadow is what we think it is. The tree is the real thing. Very cool, right? So we want to be the real deal. So according to Hartman et al. 2018, a principle-based framework can direct individuals, business, commerce, companies, organizations, entities, and corporations on the basis of moral principles. For example, respecting human rights and dignity. Furthermore, the notion of virtue ethics considers individuals' moral character and moral traits as factors contributing to or obstructing a meaningful, flourishing human life. Also out of Hartman et al. Study. Thus, the crux of our challenge as leaders, educators, individuals, and the public is to adopt correct principles, correct philosophy, and foster meaningful virtues in personal and professional aspects of life. So, like I always say, bring your best to the table every day. Right philosophy, right principles, character development, and virtue building should be demanded and promulgated by every individual and entity involved in commerce and business. So we want to be part of that culture creation wherever we are, and the things that we know about character building and virtue building, we want to be able to spread that and promulgate it wherever we are, and in whatever role we happen to find ourselves in. Have personal integrity. I love this graphic here. I will have the moral courage to make my actions consistent with my knowledge of right and wrong. Very cool, right? So have personal integrity. According to Hartman et al. 2018, personal integrity can be impacted by poor decisions, in addition to having consequences for multiple people who interact with the organization, right? So we have to bring our personal integrity to every interaction so that that will spread, right? So that others will be able to, understand, and they'll see our modeling of our personal integrity so that we can lift others as well, right? So that everybody is bringing their best to the table. Same with our students, if we're leading students, that we're helping them bring their best every day and helping them make better decisions in their lives. So poor and unethical decision-making can have lasting and damaging effects on many people. So that's why I always say every single one of us matters. We all count in the work that we do in our communities, in our society, and our nation. So don't ever feel like, I'm just one person. What can I bring to the table? Or how can I affect the culture that we live in? Well, every single one of us can affect it in a negative or a positive way, right? If we make bad decisions, that can affect other people. It can damage other people in our society. So that's why some of these character building ideas are very important. Each one of us matters. And so the work that you do in the world matters greatly. So always remember that about yourself wherever you go, and teach that to the other people that you're working with. Teach that to all of your students if you happen to be a teacher, or anywhere you are within society. How might the concepts in this talk help you in your business endeavors moving forward? What might you do when you observe someone doing something unethical in the workplace or in the school place? Interesting questions, right? So moral principles guiding actions, behaviors, and choices. And I put this graphic here because we want to have a code of ethics for ourselves as well. How we're going to live our lives and what we're going to model for other people. In a values-based culture, conformity to a statement of principles and values rather than obedience to regulations and laws can be advantageous or can be an advantageous way to foster commitment, engagement, and innovation through a model for ethical behavior based upon an Aristotelian philosophy, right? And as I've mentioned before, our traditional Christianity is based on natural law and Aristotelian philosophy. Virtue ethics, right? So a values-based culture is reinforced by principles and values rather than regulations and rules. And that comes again straight out of a study from Hartman et al. By integrating values into organizational culture, leadership can encourage decision-making processes that are directed by underlying moral principles guiding our actions, our behaviors, and our choices. So it's like setting a roadmap for us, right? And if you're out working, or you're leading, managing others, or you're teaching others wherever you are, you want to have that those guiding principles, right, as a pathway for others to understand. So create that values-based culture wherever you happen to be. All right, so let's get to our question to ask yourself. What philosophical roots do you prescribe to when examining your personal and professional ethical system of beliefs? And here, this graphic I really love, moral foundations theory. You know, we've got the two sides there, care or harm, fairness or cheating, liberty or oppression, loyalty or betrayal, authority or subversion, and sanctity or degradation. Don't we want to live in a culture of excellence, in a society, in a community, in a nation, and a world that is following those codes of ethics on the top? Care, fairness, liberty, loyalty, authority, sanctity, but correct authority, right? Our authority is placed in Jesus Christ our Lord. He is our ultimate authority, and we can model best practices and right philosophy, right actions, right choices, right behaviors based upon our traditional Christian values. Okay, so that concludes this particular talk, and here are the references. I think there's a new one, Caldwell et al., Virtuous Leadership, Insights for the 21st Century. That came out of Journal of Management. So as you can see, all of these principles about character building and virtue building are important in the business environment, wherever we happen to be working. Of course, Cameron and Wynn, Virtuousness in Organizations. That is in a book. It was a chapter in a book. And Covey, there is Covey, Stephen Covey, very famous. One of his books here, Principle-Centered Leadership. So if you're leading and guiding others, whether they are adults or students or minors at whatever age, create a principled-centered environment where you are operating on a values-based culture that you can set wherever you are. And then, of course, Hartman et al., Business Ethics, Decision-Making for Personal Integrity and Social Responsibility. And then finally, my book, A Culture of Excellence. I want to live in a culture of excellence, don't you? I know I say that all the time. Virtuous Leadership Principles for Organizational Success, a Management Plan. Okay, so hopefully I gave you some new nuggets there that you might be able to put into your daily best practice wherever you happen to find yourself in our community and in our society. And always remember that you are very important. You are a culture creator, and you, as well as I and everyone else we know in partnership, can create the kind of society and nation that we want to all live in, right? Okay, so I want to thank you so much for raising your own leadership competencies, and God bless you. Have a beautiful day. Goodbye.